The Miami Dolphins lost to the Colts, and that offense still looks anemic despite still having Tyreek Hill and Jaden Waddle. So they think they can spin the block and get Tua back up in there. And Tua is more than ready to come back in there. And he is talking that tough football, it's life football, it's everything talk. And he addressed something that I wasn't aware was a thing, but his staunch attitude on that thing to me opens up a whole different conversation when it comes to Tua Tagovailoa, the concussions, his longevity, et cetera, et cetera. So let's start with the fact that folks are worried that he's going to get hurt again. So he was asked that, and this was his response.
There were a lot of people out there legitimately worried about your health and making sure that you were okay.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to those that are worried that you might get hurt again and this is something that's going to continue?
I appreciate your concern. I really do.
He doesn't. He doesn't give a shit about your concern. He doesn't get why that man lying. That man be lying, boy. Lying season, still here, still here.
I love this game, and I love it to the death of me. That's it.
I love it to the death of me. We just had a dude who said it's not life or death. They're not putting their life on the line. It's just football. Now we have a quarterback who's been routinely concussed that potentially, we don't wish this upon them, but could be in a Junior Seau type situation years from now. And he's saying, I love it to the death of me. Yet your man's just on that FS1 stage saying it's not about life or death. It's not about putting life on the line. It's just football. Again, this is the nonsense. But your man's too is saying, I love it to the death of me. Was he about 26 years old? He got the bag, and I know his dad basically raised him to be who he is in front of us today. But at what point do you not realize, like, yo, what's my fourth, fifth concussion that's been diagnosed, that he's admitted? You know what I'm saying? Like medically diagnosed. Who knows how many concussions he had in high school, college? Like, again, the one thing that the Aaron Hernandez show is doing really well is showing that the concussions could start from high school, through college, into the pros. Most of them undiagnosed. So while we publicly know of about 4 or 5 concussions with Tua, who knows how many more he suffered at Bama? Who knows how many more he suffered in high school? So this man clearly is susceptible to being concussed. But it's football. It's the culture of football, the militaristic, religious, dogma of what football means. He is fully entrenched in it, and he ain't moving. I figured that someone who just got a bag and the Dolphins, you would think would do right by him if he decided to walk away. And we talked about how there is a scenario where if they were to try to go, if he had to retire early because of these concussions, the Dolphins aren't necessarily obligated to pay him that money, but they probably would just to keep up appearances. So he would get the bread no matter what, or at least a good portion of it. They might have to do a settlement type of deal, but he'll get a good chunk of it. And he's still out here putting it all on the line like this a contract year. You won at the game of life. You're 26, your M's up, generational wealth, all the stuff that people pontificate about. You got it. You won. I love it to the death of me, man. Wild, absolutely wild. So there was another clip that went around, and it was Tua talking about, they have the Guardian caps. Dudes wear them in practices. They wore them in preseason. And you can wear them during games. And we've seen a handful of players actually do that. I think last night there was an offensive lineman, and I think Ed Reed was on the Manning cast, and he was out here questioning it was telling you the whole concussion conversation is really turning into a vax type of conversation where it's like, again, extremely polarizing. Like you have pro-vax people and then you have anti-vax people. You definitely have pro-concussions are a problem people. Then you have very much, hey, concussions are part of the game. It's no big deal type. And Ed Reed was on the Manning cast, and he was out here questioning the science. And whenever someone starts questioning the science, but they can't really articulate it well, that's when you start to put the red flag of, are you on some anti-concussion shit? Or he's definitely the anti-guardian cap. And apparently Tua Tagovailoa is as well, because he was asked about it. And he was pretty defiant in his response as to whether or not he was even going to entertain the idea of wearing a guardian's cap.
Did that discussion come up in the last
Nope.
month?
Nope, none of that.
Will you wear a guardian cap?
Nope,
Why?
personal choice.
Personal choice. Again, that's big anti-vax energy. That's big anti-vax energy. Like, it's a personal choice. It's a personal choice not to protect myself from getting concussed. It's a personal choice not to wear something that can protect me from, again, having a 6th, 7th, 8th concussion. It's a personal choice. That is no real rationale. But again, if you do some investigating of the people that he has in and around him in his life, you might start to see a theme where it might not be that far off from the whole anti-vax notion.
Will you wear a guardian cap?
Nope,
Why?
personal choice.
I mean, that's dead ass like when they asked Aaron Rodgers if he's vaccinated, he said, I'm immunized. Like, it's the same energy. It's literally the same energy to me. Same energy.
Are you, will this change your style of play, your decision to scramble or run or things like that?
It's gotta be smart, that's it. It's gotta be smart. My entire time playing football, I've been a competitor, and that,
Yo, does he realize that he tried to run through a dead man and lost? He tried to go up against a dead man and he lost. Damar Hamlin was the one that put him out. You got concussed by a dead man. What's his problem? Why? He's got the bag. I don't understand the rationale. I don't understand the mindset. Maybe it's not for me to understand, but it just, no one could put it in terms to me that makes logical sense of why he's so defiant against protecting himself. He has small children. He has a wife. I'm assuming he wants to live a long time. But if you're putting yourself in this position where you would literally have Junior Seau's story plastered on FX and Hulu via the Aaron Hernandez doc, where he pushed through concussions, he pushed through a multitude of injuries, but in addition to those injuries, he pushed through the concussions, and it affected his biology, his chemistry, to the point that he was premeditated and taking his own life to protect his brain because he wanted them to investigate it. And you're in a similar spot where you're pushing through other various injuries that every football player who plays a good deal has to endure. Yet you're trying to ignore or placate or diminish the brain piece. How many more former football players do you need to see come out and look a shell of their former selves before you realize that could be you? How many more ex-football players do you need to see lose limbs, lose loved ones, families, money, because their brain chemistry is all scrambled because of CTE and diagnosed and undiagnosed concussions? How many more? I feel for him. I really do, because I don't
professional,
understand the logic.
Setting. This is the professional level, the best of the best. You just can't be doing that. So definitely gotta stay more available for the team, for the organization, for our guys.
What caused
He has to stay more available for his team, for his organization, for his guys. What about his family? What about his children? What about his parents? What about his siblings, cousins, aunties, godchildren? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I know you can put the whole thing, team is my family too, and you can do all that type of rhetoric. I get that, but it rings hollow. It rings hollow when you watch the defiance of earlier in this clip. The defiance.
Nope, none of that.
The defiance.
will you wear a guardian cap?
Nope,
Why?
Personal choice.
Personal choice. Immunized. Like, Marshawn Lynch told the Africans to protect their mentals. What do you think he meant by that?
Take care of y'all mentals, because look, we ain't lasting that long. You know, I had a couple of players that I played with that, you know what I mean, they no longer here no more. They no longer. So, I mean, you feel me? Start taking care of y'all mentals, y'all bodies, and y'all chicken for when y'all, you know, ready to walk away. You walk away and you be able to do what you want to do.
And Tua, whether he wants to admit it or not, he's got some African in him. Does he not want to protect his mentals?